Hey everyone, Debbie Garcia here with our second installment of virsivlog, and I've got a very special guest today. I have known Cristina now for a little over a year, maybe, and I am more than excited to introduce her. She is the owner of Big Head Cartoon and Big Heads and Beats, which is a super cool like caricature and drumming duo. And she's had to make a pivot, although we hate that word right now in this COVID land. But I just wanted to have her come in and talk about what she's doing. So let's just start it off. Introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and also kind of what your main stream of income was prior to COVID.
Right. Well, thanks for having me, Debbie. I really appreciate it. And I've really admired what you've been doing too. I know we've talked a lot privately about how we've just been getting through all this. So it's really impressive what you've done. So I'm really, really pumped to be a part of it. Well, my name is Cristina Dene. I'm owner and lead artist of Big Head Cartoon, Caricature Art and Entertainment. I'm also a partner in the pop rock duo Breaker Box. So I've lived my life up until today, luckily today it's still going, as a working artist and musician. So that's been my thing. Prior to COVID, I actually started Big Head Cartoon officially in 2009 in my hometown of Buffalo, New York. And I was in a band since I was 15. So my life was kind of spent in a van and traveling and making very little money because that's just how it goes in those days. And I was always a waitress and not a great one. So I wasn't really rocking it too well, but it was a very difficult way of life. So I started doing caricatures at restaurants, and over the years it grew. I was able to do tableside caricatures 5 nights a week. I was able to hire other artists. Long story short, 10 years went by. We had about 25 contractors on staff with Big Head Cartoon in both Buffalo and then Nashville, which we relocated to Nashville in early 2019. And that was our main thing, was live events. It was live caricature art. We had a live drumming DJ that was Big Heads and Beats. So he would play volume controlled drums to all the hits while people were waiting in line for their caricatures, which would be 2 or 3, 4 hours sometimes. And then we had balloon artists and face painters, and we had partnered with caterers. So we were really taking care of like the whole party. And then we were also producing a concert series with our band. That was another thing that we were doing. So everything in my life financially, just my daily life, was revolved around live events.
And you draw so fast. So, and live, that's a different feeling, and having people in front of you. And when this pandemic hit, and I know we talked literally right after it, how has it changed, and how did you kind of, using that word again, pivot to this virtual land?
Absolutely. I really do. Why do we all hate that word? It's becoming like, it turns me.
It's a bad word right now, but
I always thought it was Ross with the couch, and now it's my life. That's funny that we were just talking about that. Scott, my partner, and I, he is a drummer, producer. He's my partner in Breaker Box, and he's been the drumming DJ in our company. And we both just said, like, over the last 2-3 days, and we've been doing these events virtually for almost 5 months, I feel like we finally kind of got it a couple days ago, which is strange that we've kind of been, I think that's been the stress, is like just kind of going by the seat of our pants in every single one and just learning the technology, learning how to talk to people virtually. What do they need to see to feel entertained? Like, it's very, very different than live in person. But I found that, it's kind of the same at the same time. Like, people really just want connection. They want to feel like they've experienced something that's real, and that's very hard to do virtually, but at the same time, I'm really grateful for this technology because we're staying somewhat connected in a time that we really wouldn't be. I don't know what they did in 1918. They just, a whole lot of reading and looking at your family. Like that was it. Like, whoever you got trapped there with, that was it. So I'm very grateful that that's gone on, but it's really, it's just been kind of learning the pace of how to talk to people. Drawing digitally is very different than drawing on paper, but I actually find artistically, for me, because I've been drawing for so long professionally, it's been really fun because I really kind of took paper and ink as far as I think I could have taken it, if that makes sense. And this is like a digital world where I can color and you shade and you can, really include like branding and themes and stuff. So it's really fun for people to watch, and it's really fun to create. And then having the drumming DJ going and playing the songs has been really fun.
the reach that you're getting right now is absolutely incredible because I mean, we're in Nashville, you've done this in Buffalo, and that was pretty much like where you were.
Mm-mm.
And now with this, this virtual trend, how has this changed literally your reach across the world?
We're reaching the world. It's crazy. And I really, truly, when I mean, my plan was to be able to draw one person, because Scott has had a virtual drum lesson studio for a long time. He's been doing that since we relocated. He's always been a drum teacher, so he had that technology kind of in our house. So luckily, I kind of in my mind, it was like, I know I can do this. I know the technology exists. I just don't know how to do it. It's not something I came up with. I mean, people have been doing this. It just wasn't, the demand wasn't necessarily there like it is now. But just YouTube videos, I was just putting out content just to get people to know about it. And it, for some reason, I mean, it's like anything in the arts, you really can't explain it. As a musician, it's been a goal of mine my entire career is to hit those kind of pulses where you don't know why, but everybody just digs what you're doing. And it seemed to kind of happen. We just hit algorithms in YouTube where people were just finding us. So we've drawn families in India, in Spain, West Africa. If you check out our YouTube channel, we've put that content out there of the experience, but it's all the same. It's like, it's so incredible. And actually, ironically, my grandmother is from India originally. So the fact that I draw Indians a lot is just really kind of cool. I always feel like it's her maybe making that happen. So there's people that are truly in the same town as my family is from. That,
Yeah, you were able to help my family out for my parents'
yeah.
50th anniversary, and people from New York and Las Vegas, here in Nashville, and we had a really good time, and
Cool.
it adds so much to this social, physical, whatever you want to call it, distancing, and being able to kind of still enjoy a party and still enjoy each other and get something in return. That's what I
Right.
love about it. Is it's not just like the memories. It's like you just like created these wonderful pieces of art that people can, print or showcase, or even I know that you also record the sessions
Mhm.
on Zoom. So I think it's, I commend you for being able to kind of take something that was, at the time when we spoke, we were scared. We're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like all of our livelihoods are gone.
No,
And
we
what,
would even talk like my backup plan was gone.
exactly. Like we had so many backups to our backups we didn't even know. And
Like,
then
I can't even bartend anymore. Like,
nothing.
not that
And
I'm good
also,
at that.
yeah, and learning, this virtual space. What trends have you been seeing in the virtual space that you didn't expect?
Oh my God, the whole thing I didn't expect. But, I think the power of just the different technologies, like we have about 10 artists on staff now doing digital entertainment. And they are way more versed than I was because this wasn't my thing necessarily. I'd always drawn digitally. I've done a lot of work from pictures for like corporations, but that was kind of on my own time. It was never really in front of people. We did provide digital caricatures live at events, but again, it was such a different vein. And now we have a few artists on staff that have hit me to this new technology where we don't need breakout rooms anymore. Like there's 5 or 6 artists in one party. So everybody can just scroll through and watch everyone draw. And like you said, my goal was to get someone to have something to take with them from a virtual experience, which is really challenging to do. So I'm finding as we're expanding, I'm like, that's kind of easy with the print out the picture, but we have to do something else. And I wanted to just make it memorable, I guess. That was always my goal as an entertainer in general, is to give you a great experience. If my band put on a show, we had all the bells and whistles going, and as much as we could, like we were that band that would like try to do our own pyro. Like we were already planning, like, how can we blow something up? Which you don't want to do, by the way.
No, no.
You want some help. You don't want to do that on your own.
Right. And are
But I
you,
love the big shows.
well, absolutely. And that brings me to the question of, live events will come back. We all know that. Are you seeing some requests for hybrids or in the future live
Mhm.
events as we're kind of moving out? And, is that local? Are you seeing that, with your new reach, are you seeing like maybe you'll start traveling to some of these new places? I mean, what is your end goal? Are you wanting to kind of continue this virtual, or you really want to get back out there in live events?
As a company, I want us to cover all bases so this never happens to us again. I mean, and the only thing I think at this point that we're not prepared for is like space. Like if we got to go to space, maybe we have to figure something out. But it's getting to that point where they're like, prepare for that. You never know. I think we just recently started getting we had a little bit of a situation because one of the artists on our team here actually came down with COVID in July after doing a live event. It wasn't for us, it was on his own, but I love this guy. He's one of my favorite people here in Nashville. And, it was scary. And he got very lucky. He's doing fine, but I didn't like hearing about that. This is just somebody trying to get out there and try again. And, he was kind of the poster child for not getting it. Like, this is who you don't want to get it, So I was really happy that he was okay. But it did make me very, very aware that we have to find a hybrid way of kind of going into this. So really recently, like the past week, we've had a lot of people asking us to start to do live, but we're finding there's all these restrictions. Like you can only have 25 people in an event, blah, blah, blah. So we came up with like a hybrid version where the party or event has to bring in, or we have an AV partner that can bring in just a full screen, 32-inch TV, whatever you have to have. And then just connect with Zoom, have a digital camera, and then the guests can safely just come and sit in front of the television, sit in front of the camera and totally interact with the artist, watch the whole experience, and then we send it right to their phone. So they're still physically there, but it's also taking away the need, like our team won't take up any of your guests in that very limited number. So that's a lot of positives or pluses, I should say. I don't like saying the word positive, like around any of this. It's a good thing that we can do that. So it keeps everybody as safe as possible. Particularly our team too, I want the guests to be safe and I want our team to be safe. The more we can kind of avoid that, but slowly get into it, the better. And so we've been getting a lot of that. So we kind of are doing all three. I do have a few live events booked. They're very private parties. They're usually like small families, stuff like that in Nashville are starting to come back. Buffalo is coming back, but New York State's very different with the restrictions and all that kind of stuff. So we're just kind of staying away from it because it's just too sticky. Right now. So that's kind of, I don't know if I answered your question again. But.
No. I mean, that's like, what's the future hold? And like, I think the future for you is just, continue what you're doing. And as the live events come back, you take it as it comes, but also being able to have that, that hybrid is going to be very important as the events industry comes back. Are there other things you might think about implementing, once maybe we can get bigger capacities? Will there be a shield up between you? Are you thinking about like how that interaction might work?
I haven't, and I know we talk about this all the time. Like I truly every day, I'm like, what's today going to bring? Because I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't actually gotten that far. I think it's going to be based on regulations. I've always, whatever is supposed to happen. If that's, I would prefer, we're working on a virtual Santa party for the holidays. And all of the Santas that we have on staff, even though there's really just one, they are very concerned about losing that magic of, having like a mask or having like a shield over Santa. You don't really want that. So they're really digging this virtual option because Santa just needs to stay in the North Pole maybe this year. Yeah. He'll show up Christmas Eve, but like things are a little wacky. So he's going to just visit you that way because at least it's still got that magic. And it's kind of the same with this. It's the same with concerts too. It's like, you can do it. We just got to find a way to make it connect still. And like being in a bubble is, I don't know. We just have to figure something out. But there's like some talk of like keeping people in an actual bubble during a concert. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I love the creativity.
We're trying. Never know. So, a little bit about you and like what you like to do on your free time. I mean, I know that you're a musician as well. How is free time right now? What changes have you made? What do you miss doing?
I miss going to lunch. I miss food in general because I'm from Buffalo. So that's like what our whole world revolves around. But, free time, I think, everybody had to figure out a new way to just live. We were really new to Nashville and we'd only been here for like a little over a year and a half. So we had some friends and we had been working here with our music for a couple years. So we definitely were connected here, but, we just had to kind of figure out how to go about our day. So I do a lot of, just morning walks. I work out a lot. That's been just yoga and lots of running and walking and just being outside has been so great. I'm really just sucking in that I live down south where it's sunny every day. And, I love the heat and stuff. So I'm a weirdo. But I really just been doing that a lot. Whenever I can, and some days it's just, I don't have any time in the day, but, we're always writing music. I'm always making music. There's some amazing people that are just not on tour right now that are just hanging out in Nashville. So, breaker box, we're writing new material, and I'm just always kind of trying to expand what we're doing. But just spend time with my guy and talk to my friends on the phone. That's been really wonderful. I don't think I've talked on the phone like this since I was a teenager. But I sit in my garage. I converted my garage into like my villa. It's very sad, but it's all I
Your she
need,
shed, in a sense, your little she shed.
Yeah, I mean, it's all I need. I think that's the other thing that has been very beautiful about this in a weird way is like, it's, you don't need what I think we all thought we need. Like I had my birthday, we're all having a pandemic birthday. I thought it was just me because it was in May, but it's rolled into everybody.
Yeah.
But we had this big, like, we're going to go to a desert and like spend a week at a thing. And I went for a long walk with my boyfriend and I had a really nice piece of cake. And that was really at that point on May 7th was probably the best thing I could have done. And I had a beautiful birthday. So there's something very humbling about all of this that I'm starting to really appreciate the fact that I can just walk every day in beautiful area. I'm safe. I'm around nature. I get to be in the sun. I mean, I'm still working. So I think a lot of times I pray and thank God most of my day. That's kind of my spare time lately is like, thank you.
Yeah, it is.
This could have been ugly.
It's been interesting. I just had a birthday last week before. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Yeah, and it was, with kids around, I don't really get a birthday. It's I wanted, like I said, I just want to be alone. Like that's
Right.
all I wanted was like alone time. But it was nice. I mean, we ordered out dinner. We went, picked it up, ate at home. I had a little ice cream cake. I got happy birthday sung to me. My husband took the day off, so I didn't have to deal with like virtual school. He kind of like I'm like,
Oh,
that's all I needed. I was like, hey,
right.
have
Like
to go
things
out.
are more easily met than they used to be.
Absolutely. I just have one final question for you, and this is kind of coming from a new entrepreneur. Um, what advice would you give for fellow entrepreneurs, especially the female entrepreneurs, and what struggles have you faced?
Hmm. I never intended to be an entrepreneur. I thought everybody was like this. I was just like, I just can't have a job. It's going to kill me. I used to try to get, back in the day when I was younger, growing up, I always worked in restaurants. I was just into hospitality since I was 12 years old. I worked in a restaurant, started bussing tables, then waiting tables and bartending, then being like a floor manager. And then, went into art in that. And I was always an entertainer in music. So I would try to get like a 9 to 5 job. I'd last like 2 or 3 days and I'd get the flu, like truly would get the flu. So it doesn't work for me. So I kind of knew that. So I never really knew that was like a thing. I was just like, well, I'm just not going to have a job because it'll kill me. So that was my baseline. And then, I think getting routines has really helped me. That was never my thing either, especially being a musician, just being in bands. And that's not a very disciplined life necessarily. And I think, just mindset and like really understanding the power of thinking and like how you can really form your life and learning. And I think sometimes, especially now during this experience of COVID or whatever we want to call it, we're learning with a gun to our head. Like it's really not I want to learn about this. I'm going to take some time and explore. Like that's over. Like it's like you got 4 days to figure this out or you're not going to make any money. So that's kind of been the vibe and that's challenging. But I think balancing, like every woman, it doesn't really matter what you do for a living. It's just balancing your relationship, balancing being a woman because we are very different. I think our bodies run different. We handle stress differently. We're not, men are like steady, like they're the same. We know anybody who lives with a man, you're like, wow, consistent. And like women are different. We flow, we move in and out, our moods change, our hormones change. And like, just trying to understand yourself and like know when to give yourself those moments or those days sometimes that you just need a break. Sometimes you can't get it either. So it's like, I mean, I don't have children, but I have a lot of friends that have kids and it's definitely a whole different energy when you do, you have to give so much of yourself to other people, but you do that in life. It's like, I've been in a really long relationship. It's very, very important to me. So, just making sure that we have that going on and have a good balance and, we're still creative and we're doing our thing. And so I think just finding that balance as a woman in life is really the biggest challenge. So taking that time for yourself, educating yourself about the power of thinking, meditation, all that stuff, visualization, it just makes it easier. Like there's real hard ways to do this and there's easier ways. It's like, but everybody's so different. You just got to kind of find what works for you and take it easy on yourself, but push yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time so much. I love our conversations. I love
Me
what you're
too.
doing. On the screen, we're going to put up how to contact you, how to book you for a party, kind of all your social media, how to get to you. And also, guys, you know, don't forget to subscribe to our channel here at Versator and our VersaVlog. This was our second installment. Wait till the next week. We have another interview coming up as well. Tune in next time for VersaVlog.